Three, two, one. Hi, welcome to a mini episode of the Bite Size Nutrition Podcast. I am Jillian, and today I wanted to talk about what practice looks like in practice. I know, very silly of me. So, my word for 2022 is practice, and practice in my mind, does not make perfect, because if you're continually practicing, leveling up, asking questions, and trying to improve, you literally never get to the point where you don't need to practice anymore. And so this is why I think it's so important to embrace. It's something that if we constantly need to be practicing in order to improve, the second that we stop practicing is the second that we stop improving. And I want to give you an example. So think about Rafael Nadal, or think about someone like Serena or Venus Williams, all incredible tennis players, super well known. And all of them have hit tennis balls probably a million times, but they still continue practicing. And so if practice made perfect, wouldn't that mean that these masters of their art would stop practicing? And so this is why I think that it's so important to really embrace the art of trying things, practicing, potentially doing them wrong, and learning from that. And so creating healthier eating habits, building a mindfulness practice, working out, it's literally only about the process, not the result. And it's only about practice, because if you stop doing the thing, whatever result you were aiming for disappears. And I think a lot of us have dealt with this before, where we sort of started doing something, maybe we've practiced it for a while, but we haven't really taken on board this feeling of learning from practice. And then circumstances have changed, our lives have changed, and the result has kind of either slowly disappeared or quickly disappeared. And so think about it like this: each meal you cook, that is practice. Each time you sit down to eat a meal, that's practice for your mindful eating habits. Each time you exercise, you're practicing your movement. This means that sometimes you are going to cook a meal that tastes like shit. Sometimes you are going to overeat. Sometimes you're going to have a really terrible workout. But if you let it be practice, that means that you also get to revise, review, and improve. This is also why when situations or circumstances change, maybe you feel like you're totally thrown off and you feel like you've taken steps back. And this is because when circumstances are different, how you practice also needs to change. Think about when all of us started working from home. It felt like all of a sudden our eating habits were all over the place, our routines felt crazy. And this was because we had never practiced in these circumstances. And the people that adapted the best were the ones that actually took it upon themselves to practice new routines and new structure for practicing different habits in different circumstances. Not the ones that were like, well, I'll just wait until life goes back to normal. Those were the ones that, when we realized that life wasn't going back to normal, we're still struggling to create new routines because there wasn't any practice that had been put in at the beginning. And it's super easy to forget about what the learning process was like for anything that you're currently good at. So this is why I want to ask you to embrace being bad at something before you're good at it. Embrace the process. One, because there's no results without a process. And two, because if the focus is only on the result, what happens the second that you reach that result? So that was just some food for thought for today. If you are enjoying the podcast, both the mini episodes and the longer episodes, please let me know. Send me a message on Instagram. Let me know how you're liking things. And if you're feeling generous, give me a share on your social media or with a friend. Not only does it just warm my little heart, but you never know who needs to hear this today. The last thing I will ask you is I am linking a short survey in the show notes. This is something that will take you less than 2 minutes to complete. And it is so helpful for me as I continue to improve content and perhaps create some pretty cool stuff for this year that may help you out with some of the things that you're struggling with. So with that, please go into the show notes, click the link in there, and take 2 seconds to fill out the survey. It can be totally anonymous if you like, or you can let me know your name and email if you choose to. And with that, thank you so much for listening. I will see you again next time.